With the help of the iconography, it's also possible to explain who are the strange characters who would have witnessed from the sky to the crucifixion of Jesus, like the ones who appear in the crucifixion exhibit in the Cathedral Svetitskoveli of Mtskheta in Georgia, and the ones of the monastery of Visoki Dekani in Kosovo. In the latter, the two characters even seem to fly inside spaceships. But they're not extraterrestrial entities, rather the sun and the moon, portrayed as humans. The sun and the moon also represent, respectively, the church and the synagogue, as symbols of the victory of the Christianity and the defeat of the Hebraism. The large flying saucer that appears in the background of this image representing the three Marys at the sepulchre, on the cover of a reliquary kept in the Sacred Museum of the Vatican Library, dated between the 6th and the 10th century, is one of the few known reproductions of the dome of the original Church of the Saint Sepulchre of Jerusalem, destroyed by the Sultan Hakim in 1009. Today, this architectonic element no longer exists because the church has been rebuilt differently, starting since the First Crusade in 1099. But not only objects from ancient times are of interest for ufologists. Even more common elements, which can be seen today as they were in the past, can catch the imagination of the observer. This is, for example, the case of the painting that shows the foundation of the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome by Masolino da Panicale, exhibited in the Museum of Capodimonte in Naples. The disc-like objects in the sky are often confused with flowing saucers, but they are lenticular clouds instead. After all, real clouds are often mistaken with UFOs, especially in low-light conditions.
3, 2, 1, pust!
A very strange object that appears in the Exaltation of the Eucharist by Ventura Salimbeni, exhibited in the Church of St. Peter of Montalcino, is often compared to a Sputnik, the first artificial satellite made by the Soviets. At first glance, it really looks like a metal sphere with a glare on top, a prominence on the bottom left, and two antennas. But this is actually the globe of the creation, which contains the sun and the moon, while the supposed antennas are the two scepters in the hands of God Father and Son. The globe of the creation, that appears in other artworks, derivates from the orbe, a symbol of power of the Roman emperors, who ruled the whole known world, and later one of the attributes of the Byzantine emperors, often with a cross on its top, so that consequently appeared in the sacred iconography as symbol of the power of God over the creation. The globe, without the cross, is also an attribute of the fortune, because its shape inspires instability, and it's also a symbol of its influence over the world. The sphere in the sky of this miniature from a French book of good manners, published in 1338, is thus not an alien spaceship, but the globe of the fortune, which can be seen in other images of the same subject. But not always flying objects in paintings have something to do with the Christianity of their religion. There are in fact two engravings from the 16th century that shows battles in the European skies. On the dawn of April the 14th, 1561, in the sky of Nuremberg, in Germany, the local gazette reported many men and women saw spheres in the sky, approximately 3 in a row, and from time to time 4 in a square. Many remained isolated, and between such spheres one could see a number of crosses with the color of blood. Then one saw 2 large pipes, and in the pipes, small and large, there were 3 spheres, but also 4 or more. All these elements started to fight one against another. The event lasted about 1 hour. In the woodcut made by Hans Glaser right after the incident, today kept in the Victian collection in Zurich, some of these spheres can be seen to have trashed in the country around the city of Nuremberg, causing a wildfire. 5 years later, on August 7, 1566, always at the dawn, Many citizens of Basel in Switzerland witnessed for several hours to an invasion of black spheres in the sky above. Samuel Cochus, a student who wrote about the incident in the local gazette, reports: "At the time when the sun rose, one saw many large black balls which moved at high speed in the air towards the sun, that made half-turns, banging one against the others as if they were fighting a battle out of combat. A great number of them became red igneous. Thereafter they were consumed and died out." The only possible explanation for these cases is that they are not chronicles of real events, but rather a fantastic literary genre about disaster, which is popular also today.
Good heavens, looks like shooting stars. The whole flock of them.
They're coming down in our field.
Look out!
Another illustration, dated 1732, that can be confused with a UFO sighting, is actually a work of fiction. It's an engraving for Jonathan Swift's novel Gulliver's Travels, where the staring character sees the flying island of Laputa. In another illustration of the same story, the buildings of the island are clearly visible. We like to close this series of mysterious paintings unveiling one last mystery, even if it's not connected to UFOs. We're talking about Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, which required 3 years of the artist's work from 1495 to January 1498, who made it on the wall of the refectory of the monastery of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan. According to the theories of Michael Bajan, Richard Leigh and Henry Lincoln, authors of the book The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, and the ones of Lee Picknett and Clive Prince, authors of the book The Turin Shroud and the Templar Revelation, made popular by the Da Vinci Code novel by Dan Brown, this painting would hide sacred hints. In particular, the person to the right of Jesus wouldn't be the Apostle John, but Mary Magdalene, and a little farther in the painting, the hand with the knife wouldn't be the one of Peter, but of another person hidden behind him. Once again, we can refer to classic iconography studying paintings made before than Leonardo's work. The Apostle John, the one who Jesus loved, is traditionally depicted as a young virgin man with an ethereal look and long hair. For his Last Supper, Leonardo's model could have been Gian Giacomo Caprotti, also known as Salai, from Milan, who Leonardo had as his pupil since the age of 10, and when he was working to the Last Supper he should have been aged between 14 and 17. According to the description of the boy made by Giorgio Vasari, an artist who wrote a well-known essay about the life of the painters, he was very nice, with a great grace and beauty, with beautiful curly hair that Leonardo used to enjoy very much. Peter, instead, is traditionally depicted with a knife in his hand. It's the blade that he will use to cut the hero Malchus, the servant of the Jewish high priest Hannas, when Jesus will be betrayed by Judas in the Garden of Gethsemane. So, we hope we have unveiled a bit of the mystery that surrounds UFOs, and it already required some existing knowledge. As the historian and Roman senator Tacitus wrote more than 2000 years ago, Omne ignotum pro magnifico, which means everything unknown is taken for magnificent. But once the unknown becomes known, it loses most of its appeal. Thank you for watching and good night.